I turned 25 recently, and as is often the case with birthdays, I was reflecting a lot and thinking about how in the world this much time has gone by. It made me reflect a lot on how up until that point, I had always thought that I have so much time. I have so many tomorrows and so many years ahead of me to achieve the goals that I want to achieve, travel to dream destinations, spend time with people that I love, make new friends, just accomplish everything that I want to accomplish. I always thought, I still have so much time. But this birthday in particular really woke me up to the fact that though the days often can feel long, the years really are incredibly short, and it's so important to be aware of that so that we are truly spending our days in the way that we want, that we are cherishing the time that we have and accomplishing and doing the things that we are dreaming about sooner rather than later. Because if we make the mistake of thinking that everything is ahead, that all of the amazing experiences are somewhere in the distant future, we risk waking up one day and realizing that we missed out on the opportunity to make those things happen. Now, with that being said, I don't think it's healthy to have an excessive fear around the passage of time or around the fact that we are, at the end of the day, mortal. I don't think it's healthy to be super fearful and scared of that all the time. In fact, I remember feeling very stressed out when people, specifically around the time that I was getting married, were saying things like, oh, I got married like X amount of years ago, a long time ago, and the time has gone by in the blink of an eye. I feel like I got married yesterday, and they're like in their 60s and have had really, long marriages and fruitful lives. And they were saying, oh, it went by in the blink of an eye. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, I want to feel like I have all this time to enjoy my marriage, to enjoy my life, but you're telling me it goes by that fast? Like, that's freaking me out. And I remember that really scared me and bothered me at the time. I wanted to relish each day and not feel like life would just pass me by that quickly. But I think, as I'm thinking about that more deeply, I think it's important to not necessarily have an intense fear, but to have a sober realization of the fact that life is happening each and every day. Your life is happening now. The way that you spend your days is the way that you spend your life. And it's important to always have that in the forefront of your mind so that you, like I said earlier, are doing what's important to you and are doing it now. Now, the other side to all this that can sometimes awaken some anxiety is that, big achievements, if you've got big goals and big milestones that you want to reach, those can take a lot of time, and those are not things that can just happen super easily and quickly overnight. Things like really ambitious travel plans, really big goals and dreams for your career, even goals that you have for your relationships, for maybe a future marriage and family, those things do take a lot of time to build. And sometimes when you start thinking, oh, I don't know how much time I have left to do these things, it can also freak you out a little bit. But I think it's not about necessarily achieving everything as quickly as possible, because that's not always possible. I think it's more about, and I've talked about this in previous videos, enjoying and savoring the journey and each step on the journey rather than being super hyper focused on the end result. When you learn to enjoy to a certain extent maybe the struggles that you go through on the way to your ultimate goal, when you're able to enjoy the mundane parts of the process, I think that's where a true appreciation for life and a true appreciation for the process really comes. I have a vlog about noticing the small things in life as well. There are so many little things that we take for granted, little blessings that we are surrounded by each and every day, each and every minute, that when we really take the time to notice those things, it can really bring this light and color into our everyday lives. I also think it's so important to learn to be happy and content with where you are while also actively working towards progress. Like, if I know that I want certain things out of life, there are these big goals and dreams that I have, and if I'm constantly complaining or unhappy about where I'm at because I'm not where I want to be, then I'm missing out on so much joy in the current phase of my life. And I don't feel like this, but I think that it can often happen when we are in a situation where we want more, we want better. But I think that the way to get to that point is to truly learn to be content with what you have as much as you can be. But don't allow that content feeling to turn into complacency where you don't work towards the greatness that you know you can achieve. And that looks different for everyone, by the way, and I think it's important to determine, what does my version of success or achieving big dreams look like? It's so different for everyone. I was going through a point at one time when I was watching a lot of vision board videos from creators, and I really enjoyed seeing what kind of goals everybody has, but it really helped me hone in also on the fact that what I want is a little bit different from what I was seeing a lot of creators talk about, and that's okay. Learning to figure out what is important to you and working towards that rather than becoming constantly influenced by what's important to other people is also, I think, a big way to ensure that you are living your life to the fullest and not living out the dreams of other people, which I think can be so easy and tempting to do in the age of social media, because we want to almost make our lives easily, I don't know if digestible is the right word, but we want to make our lives look a certain way to people that are watching us, and sometimes that can impact our decisions when we are living a large part of our lives on display. And I'm saying this to myself as well, because I do actively post on social media to people that I know. So learning to draw the line of, okay, what's important to me and what do I think is important to other people? It's an important thing to draw a distinction between. The other thing about living life to the fullest, and something that a lot of older folks talk about when they reflect on their lives, is the importance of cultivating and nourishing your relationships. I think there is a book, I'm not sure if it's a book or a study or what it was, and I don't remember what it was called, but a lot of older people were asked, you know, what is something that you regret or something that you wish that you had spent more time on throughout your life? And overwhelmingly the answer was, I wish I had spent more time with the people that I love, nourishing the relationships that I have. And I think that oftentimes, especially for people that are entrepreneurially, is that even a word? I don't know. People that are that have a lot of goals and a lot of dreams, it can be easy to kind of get caught in the hamster wheel of working on all those things and neglecting the relationships that you have. And it just is so important to really take the time, not just to grab coffee with a friend once in a while, but to really experience life together, not just getting together to talk about life, but actually doing things to experience life side by side. Honestly, if I could just say one thing, and again, I say this to myself just as much as I say it to you watching this, don't be afraid to put yourself out there, to try new things, to meet new people, because life really is experienced outside of your comfort zone. If you are constantly letting your fear of making mistakes hold you back, you are preventing yourself from experiencing so many wonderful things just because of that fear of making mistakes, that fear of doing something that you don't know how to do. There is so much adventure and so much to discover on the other side of that fear that it would suck for you to miss out on that. The most important thing that I am reminding myself of all the time is your life is happening right now, in the mundane, boring days and the exciting days alike. Don't let it pass you by. Be committed to becoming an active participant in your life. I think I mentioned this last year during my reflective birthday video. There's something about birthdays that just makes you reflect. And I talked about this where my dad would often say, you have to be a living fish that flows against the current, not a dead fish that is just carried by the stream. You have to be an active participant and do what it is that you want to do, rather than just kind of being a dead floating fish and allowing the current to take you where it wants. And I apologize if you've heard this from me before, but it's a great metaphor, and it's something that I think about a lot. Let me know what you think on this topic. If you've been reflecting on this too, or if this is a message that you needed, I would love to know that in the comments. It's always very refreshing to have discussions there, because when you are a content creator that is talking to nobody except the camera, well, I'm talking to you, but you're not here right now with me as I'm filming this, it can be really exciting. It is very exciting to get comments and hear people's feedback, because that is what helps me in future content as well. So let me know what you think, and I will see you next time for a brand new video. Bye.